Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming in here. I'm Howie. I'm your host tonight. But before I introduce my illustrious panel, we want to thank our longtime sponsor, DJ Event Planner, which you can see in the blue hyperlinks below this video when it goes to YouTube, and our other sponsors as well. So I am going to go from left to right on my screen, and I am going to welcome Eric from New Hampshire.
Oh,
and then from Chicago, Buddy, thanks for being here. And let's see, we have Kevin. Kevin, I don't know where you're from now.
I'm from Ohio. I'm a Buckeye nut.
Buckeye. Okay, wonderful. And of course, last but not least, my road dog.
Road dog.
Road dog.
It's got my drink.
John Cawley from Boston.
Good to see you all. Kevin's not prepared for class. Bring a beverage next time.
Okay. So, as always, we ask you, the viewers, and the anybody that's part of this chill room, hey, have you got any ideas? And today, Eric floated one by me. So, Eric, I'm going to let you take it away. What is the topic you want to talk about?
Well, I'm wondering if there's anything that you regretted telling a client, or something you should never tell one of your clients. Is there anything that you've ever regretted saying to one of your clients, like prior to booking, or even after the fact that you did book it? Yeah.
Okay, well then start us off then.
I will start off, I'm sure John's got a list. But I one of them is when you're on the phone with a client or on the Zoom and they want this particular thing done, and you think that you're in agreement with what they actually want done, and you're like, yes, I can do that. Now the Zoom's over and they call you next week, and it's entirely different than what they made it sound like they wanted, you know? So now it's like, okay, well, it's going to bring the price up, but you've already sealed the deal, may I say, you know? And it's like, okay, you're stuck with it at this point, and you've got to follow through. Now it's cocktails in this room, ceremonies outside, ceremonies in here, but this was not all brought up during that initial meeting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of regret, okay, here's the price. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this had to have happened to many of us at one point or another. It's things weren't clear on their part what they wanted when you gave them a price and sealed the deal. Things suddenly change once that meeting's over. And now they think they own you. And okay, well, you agreed to this price and we want it this way. Well, sometimes again, you regret it. And you ask all the questions that you think you should ask during this meeting. And you think that you're all on the same page. And suddenly you're not a week after. Has this happened to anybody else other than me?
Well, certainly. Buddy, how about you?
I'm actually looking for the form that Tracy and I use. I have it on my desktop. We have a form that when we talk to people and we go through questions, detail oriented. Being detail oriented is very important, and it's one of the things that if someone decides to change their mind down the road, which does happen. People are like, hey, you know what? We're just having a reception. And then all of a sudden, well, now I want to add ceremony. those are add-on things. Had they done that? Sure, many times you talk to a person, you agree upon the price, but also you got to look what's on your contract. If it's not in your contract, if they want to add something, then you do an addendum to the contract and say, okay, fine, great. You need to have a cocktail hour in this area. Boom. Now, have people done that and when you show up to the wedding or show up to an event, decide to add something? Yes. You take care of the customer. 9 times out of 10, most of us will just take care of the customer and be done with it. We'll kind of like, maybe a little bit like, oh man, I wish I would have known that. But this is the one thing that people sometimes either A, forget, which is 99% of the time it happens. And then you do have those people who are trying to get one over on you because they're trying to save money or whatever the case may be. But as a business owner, that's one of the things that, you refer to the contract and what's in the contract. And if someone is saying, hey, you know what, I'm just doing a reception. Now I add in cocktail or another room and I want to do, and you've asked them that previously when you go through stuff, it's one of the things you can go, hey, you know what, you didn't say you needed any of this. I wanted to get clarification of this. And I have it in writing. I clarify that you didn't need this. Now you want this. Well, yeah, we can provide it, but it's going to be XYZ for costs. It's going to be, if you're day of, hey, you know what, this is something that I'll help you with this, but I don't have enough equipment for that, or just being honest up front with the customer. But that's one of the things. It's a hard thing, and it's a very difficult thing especially when you're there at the event and the customer says they drop your bomb on you, and you're like, oh, okay, you want to do XYZ now versus ABC, and it catch you flat-footed very quickly. So has it happened? Yes, I'm sure it happens to everyone. It happened to all of us. It's just how you prepare for it and how you basically come to it and how you actually talk to the person and explain it to them. And again, 99.9% of the time, it's a mistake. The other 0.1% is people just trying to, sneak something in.
Okay, hold on, Eric. Okay,
Okay.
buddy, the original question. Have you regretted anything that you've said or done with a
Have I regretted anything? No, there's really no. I could say that because, again, being, due diligence and making sure that, stuff T's crossed, I's dotted. I don't want, I never lie to a customer. I never want to lie. That's one thing I learned a long time ago in sales.
Yes.
Never lie to a customer, always be upfront and truthful. Have I promised a customer something and not deliver on it? No. And that's because the fact that your business is your reputation. And if you do stuff like that, those reviews on Google and other social media areas, they can go very bad very quickly. So that's, you have to be very cognizant of what you're doing and seeing that. So have I told a customer something and, basically not follow through it? No. Have I had customers that, tell us wrong information? Yes. But the thing is that, again, it's one of the things that, I never want to do that. I never, willingly do something like that. And, have we made mistakes? Yes. I will be the first one to say, yeah, I've made plenty of mistakes. But also being upfront with your customer saying, hey, you know what? I thought it was this and not that. That goes back to the communication. Did you take good notes? Did you do certain things? Did you do due diligence? And that's one of the things going back to it. That's why I love having Tracy as my partner, that we are going through that and crossing T's and dotting I's. And that's one of the other things too, is having that extra person there, that extra catch that may help you, so that way you don't fall into that pitfall of, hey, I said I'm going to do this and I can't.
Right. Well, thank you very much. And we are going to go to Mr. Buckeye himself, Kevin Beard.
Heidi, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. As far as regrets, I don't know that I have any regrets. I tend to...
No, it's not regrets. Have you said anything to a client that
I said that I...
Either you would be, it could be a regret or something you're sorry, something that...
I guess because I'm very forward thinking and I want to give them a worst case scenario, they will say, oh, well, we want to do this and we're doing it at this venue and stuff like that. And I'll say, hey, it's a barn. You're doing it at the end of October. The weather could take a poo and it could be freezing ass cold, and don't expect anybody to dance very long. So we got to go chop, 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 get it done. I'll just be flat out front with them. I don't know whether it's maybe things I shouldn't say, but I'd rather put that out there and let them know that's like, well, he didn't dance and everybody left. What, it's like, I told you this is a scenario that can happen. Now, the weather could be nice. The alcohol could be flowing. Everybody could have a great time and want to stay an extra amount of time. But I did one this past fall. It was in a barn, no heat, October. And I was down to the bridal party at the end of the night. So it's one of those things where, and I told them, it's like, and I tell people when I'm talking to them at the bridal shows, it's like, oh, well, we're thinking about a late October wedding. It's like, well, around here, the weather takes a poo. So if you want to do it, that's great. But I would prefer you put it in one of those new modern barns with heat. So I don't know that it's, maybe things I shouldn't say, possibly, because I know they look at it like with the rose colored glasses, it's going to be wonderful. Yes. Ideally, yes, but there are caveats, and I want to give them caveats so that I know that they know what can happen. So I don't tend to get with my pants, with my pants down, because like Buddy said, I'm very thorough on the follow up. I've talked to them for like 2 hours the week of the wedding, and they go, "Oh my gosh!" And other clients have said, "Oh my gosh, you're wanting to answer the phone and talk to us while these venues and photographers, they don't want to answer or talk to us." It's like, it's your day. I want to make sure that I'm in tune with what you got going on and what you're envisioning. I can't handle Mother Nature a whole lot, but I can at least give you a heads up on, worst case scenarios and different situations. So regrets, possibly, if they go, well, geez, he's very, I'm just being realistic. That's what I'd have to say about with that.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, Mr. John Cawley, what say you?
What say I? I'll call one up that both Howie and I share a memory of. It's when the phone rings and somebody asks you, "Do you mind working in the snow?" The answer isn't necessarily yes. You should probably ask, how much snow are we talking about?
What's wrong working on a snow globe, guys?
Oh,
to be.
Don't be so quick with the yes answers. It was a great time with Eric. We love you, Eric Wilson. Good Guy Productions.
Yes.
I guess the regrets which you could have is, when you start talking with the client, stay focused on the event at hand and don't talk yourself out of the sale.
Yes.
So you can say more than they want to hear, and you could give away something that will turn them off, and then suddenly they're shopping again. Specifically, if you're doing, you're going to get hired for a kid's party, and maybe you do karaoke at night, or you work in bars or something, and you mention that's kind of what you do in the spare time. And they're like, well, we don't know if we want them it's a kid's party. Maybe we should look for that DJ that dresses up like a clown and has a pony and, get an ankle bracelet.
Which is why you're so busy. Yeah.
Right. It's good to be busy. It's good to be busy, but for clients specifically, it's, answer their questions, but stay to the task at hand, and don't get pushed into something that, for information that's not relevant to what you're trying to get done. If you're booking for a wedding, then you stated specifics to the wedding. Don't say things that are going to turn the conversation sour. Stay on target. As far as actual regrets, don't let the venues bully you. That's another thing that kind of falls into this. Like, I got to a place one time doing a wedding setup, and I look at the spot on the floor, and I'd gone to the place ahead of time. I'm like, this is where I'm going to set. This is where I'm going to be. I can see where the couple's coming in, and I go to set up the day of, and it's different management staff, different crew. They're like, no, you're setting up on the balcony on the 3rd floor, overlooking and I'm literally 2 stories above everything that's going on. And rather than fighting my case, I just said, okay. Regretted that, because I was so disconnected from everything going on. I'm at the top of staircases. I mean, I could see bird's eye view, and it was real easy spotlighting the cake from 60 feet away up high. So there were some pluses to it, but I just had no interaction with the people because no one wanted to come up 2 flights of stairs and talk to me. It was, so know what you're going into, and don't just bow down and take the things the way they come. If you know that there's a better way to do something, speak up. And the absence of words sometimes can be the bigger regret than things that you say.
Yeah, that's
You should have
correct.
You should have fought for your real estate to say, no, this makes sense, but we always do it this way. And it was just at that point we had to wait to set at a certain time, and it was going to be tight, and I was just like, whatever. And that's probably the worst whatever I've ever given in the business. And if the event went fine, but again, no one knew what I looked like. I was the Wizard of Oz at that point. I was just a voice behind the like, oh, God's talking again. Where is he anyway? That stuff happens. So that's my advice on it. It's just stay focused when it comes time to close the sale. Stay on target. If it's birthday, talk birthday. If it's wedding, talk wedding. And you don't need to give too much information away. They're hiring you as a business. They're not hiring you to become a new friend. You don't need to compare, stories of anything unless you get that bond and the people. Stay out of that wheelhouse and just get your deposit and book the gig. That's my 2 cents.
Well, thank you, John. Now, in my experience, earlier on in my career, I actually advertised that the answer is always yes. And boy, did that come to bite me in the butt.
That's my point.
And I quickly changed my website and all of my advertising. Like, I'm not saying that anymore. I did an event, and I'm sure I've told this story, whether it was on live or our after party, that I did an event, and the father of the groom came up, and I had a full dance floor. I mean, it was going gangbusters, and he said, I want you to play Lowrider by War. And I went, I don't think that's such a good idea. He goes, oh, yeah. My boy, he's a Southern Cali boy. That was his favorite song. And I said, if I play that, it's going to clear the dance floor. And, and surprisingly enough, he lobbied hard enough that I said, okay, what's your name? And he was, oh, well, I'm John Smith. I'm the father of the groom. So I put on Lowrider. The seas parted. The floor was empty. And the groom comes running up to my booth. What are you doing? I said, well, your father said that you're from Southern California and this is your favorite song. He said, no way. Come on, let's get back to the party. So I did not even do a verse chorus. I just slammed. I slammed right into a banger, and they came back. On another occasion, when something like that happened, okay, this is Jake Palmer, and he's requesting this song, for his daughter, who is the bride. I hope you all enjoy it, because I knew it was going to clear the dance floor, and I wanted to throw him under the bus because he was being a pain in the butt and would not leave my booth. And as soon as I put the song on, not only did it clear the dance floor, but there were boos. And that was another one where I just slammed out of it and went right into a banger. And then they were clapping, yay, thank God. And I go, okay, you see what I mean now? That's why we get paid to do what we do. No offense to you, but, we know what we're doing. And your daughter, has different tastes in music. So it was, right after that, then it was like, yeah, the answer is not always yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Take DJ Moses off your business card. Watch me part the dance floor. I shall show you the. I'm gone.
Yeah. 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 Watch me make people run away. Yeah.
That's
But,
it. Well, if the bar wants to get busy, that's, those are the secret weapon songs to clear a floor and push everybody to to the
May
venue.
I have 1 minute to elaborate on what Buddy said?
Sure.
Buddy,
Sure.
I really love your response. And
Mhm.
what you said could open up a whole can of worms, and I don't want to do that. But, well, one of the things, like when they change the plans the day of, and this happens a lot. And us as
Mhm.
DJs, what do? We actually eat because we have to eat what they change because we don't want to ruin that day. We don't want to ruin our name. Correct? I mean, you've kind of, okay, we wanted 8 uplates instead of 6 or whatever. So what do? You accommodate them and get the job done, correct?
Well, again, within reason, all it boils down to what the accommodation is. And again, if it's something you're adding in a bunch of other stuff, as a business owner, again, you have no problem. I have no problem doing that, but there's
Yeah.
going to be a cost associated to it. It's like any other service business.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's a plumber, electrician, or anything. It's the same thing. We want to take care of our customers. That's the most important thing. Our customers are the most important thing in the world. Without our customers, we don't have a business. And taking care of every single one of them, it's important. But again, if it's something that's very off the wall, I have to see, can I do it? And what is it entailing? If it's something very simple and easy, yeah, no problem. But if it's something very complicated and I'm not prepared for it, then I need to get prepared for it then. And we want to take care of the customer, but again, there is sometimes costs associated with that, So that's the thing. It's one of the things, again, going back and communicating your couple and communicating with your client. It doesn't matter if it's a corporate client or whoever, and explain to them, hey, no problem. Something simple, an extra microphone, something like that, or they're changing time around. Hey, no big deal. But they're adding in a whole nother setup, a whole nother this, whole nother that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when time you need to talk to them more about
It's
it.
beautiful out today. We want to push the ceremony outside. It's like, I didn't bring any of that stuff. That's not on any of the paperwork. That's not in play. We can't do that now.
Right. This was
But
part of
also,
the
the other thing is that always come
Yeah.
prepared. And again, I'm blessed to have a van for my business. I have some extra stuff on there that if I've run into a situation like I can do that. But still, it's you still want to be prepared for it, because if it's sunny out, you need a tent, you need stuff. There's all those incidentals that you're like, oh, and not being prepared for it. Yeah, it throws a lot of monkey wrenches in there. And it's sometimes, yeah, you just gotta go, okay, fine, great. You bite the bullet and you take care of the customer. Because again, like, for our customers, are the most important thing in the world. And just you gotta do it. But sometimes you gotta say, hey, you know what? I can do it, but I'm gonna have to charge you a fee for it. And that would be like any other service business out there,
Right.
plumber, electrician, anything.
Sure.
Part of the problem for that is we tend to have a contract. Well, if an electrician or plumber comes there, he gives you an estimate, but he's like, oh, I didn't realize this extra stuff is bad. I don't have that. I got to go get it. With them, they have a unlimited time because they're just going to charge that extra hour to go to Home Depot and get that part. While us, I know Buddy's got everything under the sun in his van, I don't
have everything.
But it's like, I don't have that, and I don't have the time to go get it. So you're going to have to take this lemonade I can make out of lemons I got. So there's some differences between that profession and our profession. Ours is time constrained, especially if they're springing it on you the day of the event. That's one of the things. It's like, if that's a possibility, I guess you get there like, when the bride and groom get there, just in case they throw a monkey wrench at you. It's like, oh, okay, I got time to go get this shit. I'll run and get it, and then I'll come back and, make everything happy, as long as they're willing to pony up that change of setup, extra cost. But I think some of them maybe are trying to wait to the last minute and then sort of spring it on you and get it for nothing.
Right. I've had that. In closing remarks here, I am going to share, I've had that happen to me, where a bride was an hour and a half late to her own reception. And now we're at the Hilton in Philadelphia, and I knew that it wasn't going to happen, but they were like, hey, look, can you play until, midnight? And I was like, I would love to help you. I said, but the venue will not allow that. I said, you contracted with them, for 5 hours until 10 o'clock. And what really, they go, well, then, all right, then, can we get a refund on that extra hour and a half? And I go, that's not my fault. They go, well, it wasn't our fault either. I go, it's certainly not my fault. The contract is a contract. Whatever. I mean, I don't know what your reason for being so late was, but yeah, sorry, no refunds. And they were like, but you could still play. And then I was like, go ask the venue manager. And the venue manager, I could see them and they were fighting. And I was just stayed in my booth and I kind of averted my eyes because I didn't want to smile. I knew I was getting out of there at 10 o'clock. Yeah. She was a bride. She was a bridezilla, and that was that. 10 o'clock, last song. Started packing up, and she's screaming at the venue manager, and she's lobbying me to give her money back, and I'm like,
that's beyond your control. That's like
beyond my. I just packed my stuff.
Can't help you.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you a good review. And I said, I'm sorry you feel that way. So, that was that on that. And, we do the best we can as professionals. And I'm owning up to my very big mistake when I was little. As I said before, the answer is always yes. And it bit me few times and I learned from it, and I hope that you can too. And we will see you next week. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below when this goes to YouTube, and we will be happy to tackle your questions or your concerns. And with that, we're going to close this out and say we'll see you next week.